since I am not there for open house, I just wanted to give you a quick video overview of the course. If you have any questions, feel free to email me or call, and I will get back to you. The first thing I have here for us is the syllabus. So this is Geometry Accelerated. This is the course that prepares your child for future accelerated classes. If your child wants to take Calculus A-B or Calculus B-C, so those two AP calculus classes, they need to stay on this accelerated track. This is the only section of Geometry Accelerated being offered this semester. I'm the only teacher, so it's in room 249. Basically, we're learning geometry concepts through real-life situations, through engaging lectures, activities, tests, and homework. Each student will develop problem-solving skills, higher-level thinking skills as they obtain a solid foundation in geometry. This is our course outline. This chapter right here, it's an optional chapter, so I usually save it for the end. We have a physical textbook. The students have all taken home a textbook, but they also, I told them they didn't have to bring it back in since I have enough for a class set. The way that this class works is 90% of their grade will be from summative assessments, which is basically their tests, and then 10% will be from formative, so that will be like any quizzes, worksheets, homework checks. So when I say quizzes, I mean homework quizzes in that 10%. And then if you're not familiar, at the high school, 40%, when we calculate the semester grade, we do 40% of the first 9 weeks, 40% of the second 9 weeks, and then 20% for the final exam. This is just some of the rules here. As far as a calculator, I have a class set of these graphing calculators, and your child has been assigned a number, so they will all always use the same calculator. If their calculator's not here, they should let me know so I can try to track it down. In geometry, you don't really need a graphing calculator. You can kind of get away with just a regular calculator or even your phone calculator. Obviously, on test days, I wouldn't let them use their phone calculator. They'd have to use my calculator. However, it's fine if you don't have a graphing calculator at this point. If they are going to continue on the accelerated track, though, you probably want to consider getting one at some point. Again, these are just the rules there. As far as extra help, I'll go over this a little bit in this other document I have, but they can definitely come and meet me before school, during QRT, or after school. I'm always here at 6:45. After school is a little bit tough right now. I've had foot surgery, and it was on my right foot, so driving is kind of hard for me at this, obviously impossible actually for me, so I am getting rides from other teachers, so after school I'm kind of dependent on their schedules. There's also the Math Help Center. It's in room 251. It's available every morning at 7 o'clock, and Mr. Morley runs that, and Mr. Morley has taught this course before, so if my explanation's not working for the kid, he's a great resource just to also get maybe an explanation from. We already had our first test, and I was pleased with the scores. If your child was not happy with their scores, I encourage them to come talk to me. Generally, it has to do with kind of like their preparation. There's usually a little bit of an adjustment coming from the middle school. A lot of them maybe didn't have to study that much in the middle school, and so they kind of maybe have to learn some better studying techniques. So usually we could talk and try to figure something out. This PowerPoint presentation, I went through it with the kids on the first day. So what a day typically looks like is we complete a warm-up. I usually just post a question on the board. If they have any homework questions, we go over that. We review the homework. If I'm going to assess the homework, I would give them a homework quiz. We'll do the lesson, and then they usually have time at the end of class to work on homework problems. In a given unit, I will always pass out a packet to them, and this packet will have So I always start off with a quick review, but the packet will have all the notes. The warm-up I just post on the board, so the packet will have the notes in there, and then at the end of every section, those are the practice problems, and those are the ones that I would give a homework quiz on the next day to assess them. How should they study for tests? So do their homework, check your answers. So all the answers are posted on Schoology. Like I said, they come in, write any homework questions on the board. So if there's something that they still don't understand, they can write it on the board. I also always ask the class, do you have any questions? And I'll go over any of them in more detail. At the end of all those packets, so that one packet I showed you, at the end of it, there are sheets here of review problems, so they should do those as well. Those answers are also posted on Schoology. I also will do a review in class the day before the test. I try to find different problems than these ones. Make sure you can do the problems without relying on your notes. So if they're looking at their notes too much, they're not prepared for the test. Come in during QRT to ask questions. Their homework answers, like I said, they're in Schoology. There's a folder titled Textbook Problem Answers. Their review answers are also in Schoology. There's a folder titled Unit Practice Answer. How do they know when an assignment due is or when there's a test? So on Schoology, I have the calendar filled out. I also have a little update thing at the top, and also behind my desk, which you can kind of see. This is my stat class, but you can kind of see there that I'll just put some things up there if they have anything due. If they're absent, they should check Schoology for which section was covered. They can use the filled-in notes on Schoology to fill in their notes. They can also watch an old class video. I'll show you where those are. They should turn in any assignments when they return. If they miss a test, they're going to have to find time during school or back on track Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday to make up the test. So if I go over here to Schoology, like I told you, at the top, I'll just have like a little chart here that kind of overviews the week. You can always click on the calendar and see what is planned. Obviously, I don't go too far out because, if things change and I have to shift some things around, I'll do that then. But you can get an idea of what's upcoming on the calendar. There's the homework solutions that I told you about. Here's the practice at the end of the packet that I told you about. In the course headquarter folder, you can find the syllabus. This link just takes us to a page where I create these little tables. It's probably not one they'll ever need to use. If we were to ever have a virtual instruction day, here's the link. So lesson videos. So again, if they're absent, what I have for them is from spring 2021, that year that we were hybrid, I recorded my classes then, so they are class videos of me teaching it. There is a class there. Of course, they didn't turn on their cameras, but there's a class there, so it does take a little longer. These videos are from the spring of 2020 when we were asynchronous, and so those are actually just recordings of me teaching it just to students to watch later. Yes, they are a few years old, but if your kid is absent, it's an alternative. It's a resource out there since they're not in the classroom watching the video or listening to me that time. This is a link that takes them to those class recordings. This is a link that takes them to those chapters that were from that asynchronous time. I put those ones in playlists on YouTube. It just makes it a little easier to find the chapter. This right here is that PowerPoint document that I just went through with you if you need to look at anything again there. In a given folder here, so this is Unit 1. This is the blank packet, so that's this packet here that I was showing you. So that's always out there if they need it. These are individual blank note sheets. Another resource if they're absent, here's filled in notes. So they can come in here and find my filled in notes, and they could copy it there as well. Then the other thing, these are just the blank practice sheets. This is extra practice. In every single unit folder, I'll have extra practice. Most of the time, it depends on the chapter how much I have. I always have this standardized test prep in here. It's just some extra, like they're usually multiple choice questions. If it's a more difficult chapter, I'll have more extra practice in there as well. And then this is just the curriculum for the units. This is just I was out that day, so but that's not always in one of those folders. So that's pretty much it for Schoology. As far as Power School and what you'll see on that, you probably have already seen some homework quizzes. Those are typically 3 or 4 points. They're in that formative category, that 10% category. The summative category is our tests. Again, those are the 90%. I will also start giving them review worksheets. I call them rows, review of the week. So you'll start to see those as well. I just have a review for every chapter, so you'll see those also showing up. There may be some other worksheets here and there. Some years I do a project. It just kind of depends on the timing of how the lessons are going in the class. Again, sorry I'm not here. But should you have any questions, like I said earlier, you can feel free to email me, or you can call me. Again, there's my email, there's the phone number. So I hope you have a good night. Thanks.